Next up, we have Felipe Ocadiz, MuleSoft Ambassador and IT Integration Engineer at Twitter. He can frequently be found on Twitter answering the toughest MuleSoft questions. Today, he's going to cover how to become an Anypoint Studio Ninja. Felipe, take it away.
Hello everyone, welcome to MuleSoft Connect Now. This is Felipe Albi. My topic is how to become an Anypoint Studio Ninja. So I'm a MuleSoft ambassador and also IT integration engineer at Twitter. I've been doing MuleSoft integrations for the past 5 years since Mule 3.5. So I've been going through a lot of changes in the platform. So I'm really happy to be here sharing this with you. One fun fact about me that long time ago I felt super brave, so I wanted to work directly in XML. So I changed a query for Salesforce and I forgot to escape a character. So when I deployed the job to the server crashed because of that. I still don't know what happened, but it took me like a few hours to realize that what was the issue. All right, let's go through the agenda. So the first one is to discuss the motivation behind this topic and how we can be more productive in Anypoint Studio. We will discuss how this product can help us to be more efficient. So we will go through 4 different practices that can help you to boost your productivity. The first one is organizing your code. The second one is automate repetitive tasks. So the third one is focus on what matters. And the fourth one is reuse. So how we can reuse some settings in your platform to be more productive. So the reason of this topic is that we as Mule developers, we spend a lot of time behind the platform designing applications, testing them, debugging, etc. So what is the problem? The problem is that in the real world, the number of applications will grow constantly. So we have like new projects every day. So we are adding more and more code to our workflow. And there are tasks that are time consuming. So sometimes we are like spending some time trying to set up and configure the tool, which is like not like efficient way to spend our time. Anypoint Studio is our best friend, definitely. So it's the best IDE for Mule development. It has like a lot of features that will help us to download artifacts from Design Center. You can reuse assets from Exchange, so we can debug the applications. We can really see what is going on in the flow. We can add breakpoints. We can also record the test that we want to perform, etc. So the idea behind this is keeping our workspace clean will help us to be more productive, to really be focused on the work that we are doing. The first practice is organizing the code. So organizing the code is like keeping everything in one single place. So there's like a common configuration among the biggest tech companies, which is the monorepo. And this is like having a Git repository with all the source code and all the dependencies in one single place. So instead of having like one application in one repository, so we have like one big repository with all the integrations that we are working on. So this is very convenient because we have everything in one single place. It's easy to move and it's easy to work with. The second principle or practice here is to automate some repetitive tasks. And I can think on top of my mind that one of the tasks that I don't really like because it's like time consuming, like a lot of clicks and windows, is the import. When you are importing a new project, you need to go through multiple windows. So the first step is to, once you are in Anypoint Studio, you do right click and then click on import. Then you select the Anypoint Studio project from the file system. Then you need to see a new window where you need to find the project, the Anypoint Studio project. And then you need to find the project, the specific project folder there. Once you find the project, you click on finish, and voila. After couple of windows, so you can start working on your project. So, and there's nothing wrong with the process. However, when you need to import 76 projects and you are part of a big organization or a big team with hundreds and hundreds of applications, it becomes like a big mess. So, but there are some good news. Anypoint Studio is based on Eclipse, so we can easily develop some plugins, or we can like import and export some configurations. So it's very customizable. So what I do here is like with the help of a little script to generate the project and the class path files, so I can import the projects in batches. So which is very convenient because I don't need to spend like a lot of time like importing one project at a time. And the way it works is like this. So once I run the script, I can click on import and I select the existing projects into the workspace. This is a little bit different than the typical workflow, but then when I click on the existing projects into workspace, and then I go to the mono repo, so I can see the list of all the projects that are part of that folder. So, and I can click on select all and then click on finish, and automatically I can see all the projects in my workspace. I don't need to do anything. It's just like 3 steps to get everything. So one more feature and practice that I really like about Anypoint Studio is when the number of projects grows, you can be lost in your workspace. So because if you go and see the list of your projects, you can see like 60, 70 projects, maybe more. And then if you are working on only 2 projects, sometimes you get lost when you want to open a file. You need to scroll in all that huge list to find a file. So Anypoint Studio has like a feature I like, which is the working sets. A working set is like a feature that helps you to create custom views of the workspace. So you can filter the projects that you are working on based on different criteria. So you can create working sets for the type of APIs that you are working on, or if you are working on a specific project that only involves 1 or 2 integrations, you can create views for that. And the way to work with working sets is like this. So we only need to click on select working set. We click on new to create a new working set. The type of sets that we need to create is Java. And then from there, this is the interesting part. So you will see a list of all the applications that you have in your workspace on the left side. So you name the working set. In this case, if I'm working on a project to expose experience APIs and I need to work only on those 2 projects, I just pick, like in my example, mobile messaging experience API and also my web experience API. I click on add, and then I will add those 2 projects to the experience API working set. I can also create working sets based on specific projects. Maybe I have like a messaging project that is going to involve like 5 different projects, which is like, let's say, WhatsApp, Twilio, Slack, and also like a process API on top of everything. So, and then when you click on finish, you will see on your package explorer only the projects that you select as part of your working set. And the last feature or practice that I like to do is like the run configurations. So, and I call this practice reuse because we can use the same configuration to run all the projects. And the reason behind this is that every time we do right click on run as a new application, so this is going to generate a new run configuration. So when you have like many applications on your workspace and you click on that feature, is going to create a new configuration. So you will end up having like hundreds of configurations that are not really useful, and sometimes they are harder to maintain. So what I propose here is just creating one single run configuration. So, and a run configuration is like a set of projects with specific properties that you can use in your workspace to run and test your applications locally. So the good thing about this practice is that you can also use this configuration to debug your applications. And the way to create a new configuration is just click on this dialog, Run Configurations, and then from the Mule Applications element, you create a new one. You define a name and you define the applications that you want to run. So this is also like a good practice, because when you start working on specific projects, you only pick like the projects that you are interested in. You can also add like custom properties that will be part of the runtime. I also find this convenient because in most of the cases, you can reuse most of those properties. So let's say if you are injecting the environment to your application to change the behavior of the application, the environment you are connecting to from this section, you can do it. You can also like define the, I don't know, the API name, the API version, or any other parameter that will be used by your application. And the coolest feature about this is that you can export it. So you can export this and you can share it with your team. So there's no need to create this configuration from scratch. So if you have like a set of properties, credentials, etc., that are part of the configuration, the rest of the team can share. They can save a lot of time following this practice. So let's go to see the demo.
As part of this demo, I will show you all how I follow these practices to keep my workspace clean and also to avoid repeating a lot of tasks like importing the projects. So what I have here is my Anypoint Studio running, and I predefine my monorepo with 10 different applications. So instead of importing one by one, there's a way to import them in batches. The way to do that is to click in Import Projects. And this is interesting because instead of clicking on the Importing Anypoint Studio project, so I click on Existing Projects into Workspace. So the next step is to click on Browse and find the folder with the monorepo with all the projects that we have. So once we have that, we can see the list of all the projects that are part of the monorepo. So I can easily deselect all, select all, etc. I can also refresh the list if needed. And when I click on Finish, voila, we have all the projects imported at once, which is very convenient. So to demo the second feature, which is the working sets, I'll do this. So I click here on Select Working Set, and I will create a custom view for this workspace. So let's say I need to work on specific projects that are related to messaging. So I will need to focus on Twilio and WhatsApp System API. So I can create a new working set. Sorry. So and the working set will be named like I don't know, messaging. So and I can select WhatsApp API and also Twilio. So I click on Finish, and I select that working space that I just created. And then I will see only those two projects. So I can easily change the different working sets that I'm working on. So in this case, I can create working sets based on projects, based on some layer functionality. So maybe I need to work only on the system APIs because I need to improve the security in all the system APIs that I have, or the process API layer, etc. So in this section, I can select the existing workspace, so I can click in one of them. Oh, let me see. I don't have anything in System API, so I can select Slack, Twilio, Salesforce, Oracle, whatever. Then I can click on Finish, and then I will see this filter view. So good thing about this is like there's no difference between having like an individual project or seeing the projects as a working set. So it's just like from your point of view, it's just like a regular project. And the last piece is the run configurations. So every time that you go to on top of an application and click on run as mule application, this is going to generate a new run configuration every time. So over time, you might end up having like hundreds and hundreds of configurations. Some of them might include different configurations, different properties that you might need. So if you are changing anything, you might be like having even copies of the same project as a run configuration. So in order to fix that, what I typically do is just click on run configurations, and I pre-populated this, but I will do it from scratch. So I click on new configuration, and I can do like test configuration, and I can select from here the applications that I'm gonna run. This is like a based on the workspace, not the working set. So I can just click the APIs that I will be working on. Something that I typically like to do is like cleaning the application data. This is convenient, so that way, if there's some caching or something like can be storing some state, you can clean that up. One cool thing about this is that you can add arguments to your local mule runtime, and having this, you can reuse these properties for many different projects. Something that I have noticed too is that for some use cases, you might reuse the same parameters for all your run configurations. So imagine having like many and many configurations, and then you need to add the same parameters. So why not having just one single configuration with some example? Let's say if we need to inject environment, and then if we need to inject like I don't know, like session ID or something that is used internally when you are running it locally. This is very convenient. And one cool thing about this is that you can use the same configuration if you debug your mule applications. So I click on apply. So I have the test config here. And one more note, when I need to change my working set and I need to work on different projects, that the only thing I need to do is just to select the applications that I'm working at that time. That's the only thing that I need to do manually. But other than that, I keep reusing the same configuration over and over. It's easier to maintain. It's even easier to share. So, and this is something I really like. So when I have my configuration, I can right click on it and type export, click on export. I can save the changes, and then I can also export this. This is very convenient because I can share this configuration with the rest of the team. So that way, when a new engineer joins the team, there's no need to create this from scratch. So with some work and trying to hide some sensitive information like credentials or something, but you can easily also have this configuration as part of your source control, which is convenient too. And that's it.
So as a conclusion, Anypoint Studio is the best idea for new development. We can design our applications, we can debug them, we can deploy applications from there. There are a lot of tools to also test the applications. Test Recorder is one of the coolest. However, for some other tasks, it's up to the developer to start like adopting some practices to be more effective. So out organizing your code, automating, and focusing on what matters will help you and your team to save a lot of time on repetitive tasks and will boost your productivity. So happy coding. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat window.